Hello, I warmly welcome you back to this presentation as I continue to share my view in relation to the war in the Middle East as Israel continues to defend herself against the terror that was unleashed and is still ongoing against her. Since from the very outset of this war, one thing that stood out was the the words that were used, terminologies that were used as the world tried to castigate Israel, brought all kinds of bogus charges against Israel. So these words have become described as buzzwords. One thing I'll state here is no matter what happens, no matter what's going on, I believe and will always stand firmly on this belief that Israel has a right to defend herself. I do not see why the action that led to Israel defending herself is overlooked. That is effectively and conveniently forgotten, while everything is now pointed at Israel, as in trying to deter her from defending herself and the citizens. Well, back to the buzzwords. Those words came in various manners: freedom fighting, resistance, occupation, starvation, hunger, apartheid, genocide, ethnic cleansing, all sorts of things. And the most recent one is the Hannibal Directive. So it looks like every month a new buzzword is introduced to appease and appeal and whip up foolish sentiments in the supporters of terrorists. I will look at just one of those words today, which is occupation. Occupation, as Israel has been accused. People who come and say, oh, 75 years of occupation. Well, if you go study and look carefully at Gaza and look at the history, which I would share a little bit today, you would see that Israel wasn't occupying that location on October 7, 2023, when those terrorists broke down walls, fences, and committed barbaric, monstrous actions against innocent civilians in their beds, those who were just having fun at a festival. There is no justification for that monstrous act. So occupation refers to a temporary military control of a ruling power over a territory. So a military takes over and would be in charge, will occupy that place temporarily. And we saw that in the history of Gaza since 1948. We see where various entities had occupied that place. So from 1948 to 1967, it was occupied by Egypt. In 1967, that Gaza was conquered by Israel from Egypt in the famous Six-Day War, as we are aware. So the Six-Day War led to Gaza being taken over by Israel from Egypt in 1967. And then between 1967 and 1993, Israel ruled Gaza. Yes, Israel was in charge of Gaza. You can say, yes, they occupied it. In 1979, however, between that time, Israel tried to return Gaza to Egypt, but Egypt will not have it. In 1993, the Oslo Accords came in place. Palestinian Authority began to rule in Gaza. They took over. Then in 2005, Israel completely withdrew from Gaza. Israel left that place. Israel had to literally drag, pull, and force its people out of that place. They dug graves and excavated bones and took with them. They left the place. People had invested their life in that place. They left. In 2007, Hamas took over Gaza. So since 2005, Israel had not been in Gaza. There was an onslaught of attacks from Hamas when they took over Gaza. And that was what led to the blockade of weapons that was imposed upon them by both Egypt and Gaza and Israel, sorry. So the onslaught of suicide attacks, all kinds of things going on, people taking knife and running up rampage. They had a blockade. In spite of Gaza being the enemy, actively working against Israel, Israel provided Gaza with water and electricity. If Gaza was occupied, it wasn't by Israel after 2005. So I do not really comprehend what people mean when they talk about occupation, because Israel was not occupying Gaza. Because the attack of October 7th was from Gaza. Those people actively went and did what they did, and the world tried to explain away that this was because of some occupation. Israel wasn't occupying Gaza on October 6th. So that argument, that buzzword is cancelled. There's no truth in it. There was no occupation by Israel in Gaza as at October 2023. I will stop here for now. I'll be back with another buzzword to just explain, because we really need to put these truths out there. We really need to let people see and know, because I want to get to the bottom of why the world is actively going against Israel. I want to understand it. I have done my studies. I have heard and listened and read. I still do not understand why Israel is the one being castigated, being held responsible, being attacked, being condemned, and not to defend herself and the people against the monsters that are seeking to destroy them. I do not understand. Terrorists cannot take over the world and we sit by and watch. This was exactly the same way the world stood by and watched, and the Holocaust occurred. I am grateful to see you today. I hope to return with another buzzword. In the meantime, continue to pray for Israel, and I will remind you that the God who keeps Israel neither sleeps nor slumber. God bless you.